Alright, I'm gonna make sure I'm recording. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at the overall market, S&P 500. I do expect a consolidation period, if not a reversal, back down to the 50 EMA. When you get this far away from the 50 EMA, typically you'll get a consolidation period so that the market can digest what's going on, typically. Dow Jones Industrial Average, basically the same thing is going on here if it would fucking load, but got a little development of the doji candle right here. This doesn't mean that it's going to stop, it just means that there's the probability of a reversal here more often than not. But I do foresee another consolidation period, especially being this far. Same thing going on with that one. Let's take a look at AMD. AMD is looking pretty good right now. And if we can get this to close above the 14.5, then this is going to turn into a momentum. So just keep your eye on that. If it closes below that, then we might run into a little bit of resistance tomorrow. If it closes again as a doji, which I would be surprised it does, you know, just because of the news that AMD's been having, then, you know, I'd be surprised. But you also have to take into consideration the overall market condition is, in my opinion, is going to consolidate pretty soon. So we'll see. Let's see what else I have on the list here. AVP. AVP, this is a dud. I already marked it as off of my watch list. I just want to bring it up. So because it broke down through this barrier, you know, it's gonna have to find its own support elsewhere. Bank of America. Remember, we were hoping for a momentum trade towards the high end. That didn't pan out. Financial district is, you know, tends to follow. This guy, especially, tends to follow the overall market. But, you know, we'll just have to wait and see how this one develops. But I do think it's going to come back down to the support line here. BBRY. You know, if you remember this one, we were talking about a cross through the 200 moving average. If you remember, this is that bullish candle I was talking about. Typically this goes bullish, but it didn't. I don't know particularly why. I don't think there's any news on it. Okay, so it's just a statistic that came out. People aren't very happy with BlackBerry's market share and performance. So, you know, if your market share is decreasing, especially with BlackBerry, even though they had some pretty good success with the BlackBerry Priv, then, you know, shit happens. What am I looking at now? BKD. Oops. BKD. Following pretty good, still pretty good for the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement. I put a buy signal here, but it was in the morning. There's no real reason for that. But I do hope that it will retrace back down to the 61.8 so that we can get a buy option over here and get like 6% off of it or something. You know, when you can buy bracket type of purchases, so your stop loss and sell points are already in a pretty good location. It's called TRG bracket, by the way. Edit. Edit. Same thing going on. I'm hoping that it'll retrace back down to this area, and that way we can get a better price on that. So I'm going to create one here actually. Oh, I didn't know I didn't have one there. So I got my alert set there. So we'll take a look at this when it pans out. But as for now, it's not on my watch list. I'll get alerted when it does end up crossing. So, ENDP, same thing going on. Had a pretty good day today on ENDP. So you got that lateral 23.6. If you remember, I said if it manages to touch at 23.6 and find some resistance and support, it could end up going up pretty good. So if you did end up buying right on the 23.6, you know your sell should be around that 38.2, but you can be scaling out, like, you know, even right now you should be up like, you know, 4.27%. You can sell maybe 50%, you know, depending on your stock size or the share count that you have. It could be pretty good. You can scale out on the way up. FH, that's one I was looking at. If you remember, I put this little future candle here, seems to have hit a little sooner than I would have liked to, but you know, it could retrace back down here. So long as it closes above this candle, we'll be in pretty good shape. If it turns into a complete doji down here, then I'm still going to monitor it, but it's still a little fishy. The fact that it went up so high and then came all the way back down, but if it manages to stay up a little high, it might be a good buy option for tomorrow. FSC doing pretty good. I was hoping, if you remember FSC, I was talking about the doji candle right here for a reversal. And you can take this one all the way up to the 23.6 resistance and scale out on your way up as you approach the 38.2. HK, same thing going on. This one is kind of a failed to follow the channel. So I do have a mark at 8.41 for the alert. So whenever it crosses that, I'll be taking a look at that one again. MVIS, drop back down. Next resistance is I would put right here. So if I were to put an alert, it would look like right there, because I want to catch it as it descends into this. That way I can monitor it as we work our way back up. So this one could be pretty interesting to look at. You got a pretty solid stair step action going on, so you know your buys and sells are pretty clear. MVIS Neon, another good one that I was looking at, had a buy signal here. Overall market being pretty shitty. Still not a sell kind of day, but you know, just watch this one for any kind of movement. And Nike performed really well yesterday. So you got another consolidation period, it seems. You know, so we'll just have to keep this one on watch. If you did end up buying into it, you know, you could get some more momentum trading off of that. And let's see, what am I looking at? Oh, what is it, Nike? OCLR, I think OCLR had some pretty good stuff going on. Apparently not. Okay, so OCLR, next point of resistance is going to be right here, around that area. So just monitor that one. OCLR could get pretty interesting. Let's see, because your profit margins are pretty big on this one, especially if it retraces back down to this area. I mean, like that. That's like 29%. So that's pretty baller, you know. Anyway, that's OCLR. Where was I? Okay, OZM. So this one's behaving as predicted for the most part. If it reaches the 23.6, be wary of a reversal, and it did, and it hit it and reversed intraday. And now it's coming back down, and I'm going to wait for it to hit the 0% once more, or this overall trend line, you know, because it could easily reverse right here. OZM and PFE still doing its little breakout. I already sold all my shares on PFE a little too preemptively. Usually when you get these kinds of dojis, you know, it could be a market reversal, but I should have known, since, you know, it's just been chilling here. I sold yesterday, I believe, because of that heavy drop. So I figured, okay, well, maybe we're in for that reversal, and I still don't think I made the wrong decision given the history that's been happening. You got lower highs and lower lows, which is indicative of a turnaround. In this case, it just simply opened, it gapped up. So with that gap up, you know, some new momentum on that one. But if it manages to close above this one, like so, if it manages to close above that line, then we'll be, PFE at least, will be in good shape to keep going up. SO1C, no, this is some pretty basic stuff, guys. Yeah, SO1C, just waiting for that retracement back down to the 2450 mark. Let's see. Everything that I had on watch for a breakout broke out just a little bit and then went back down. It's really weird. TSLA, big fail on this one. But remember, this one I wasn't trading, I was just kind of watching, because it is a curious one to observe. So this gap down is as a result of some news coming out. This analyst was talking about how Tesla might be overvalued right now, because at the price that it's at, it's more of like well into the future type of investment, if you will. So, where were we? Twitter, same thing. We're tracing back to the mark right here, the 1569. Under Armour, consolidating nicely right here, waiting for that pop above the 20.27 roughly. If it does end up popping above that, we'll be in pretty good shape for a momentum trade. If it breaks below the 18.08, then I just want that alert to let me know that, hey, we're getting close to this support line, so it might be a good buy option. So just out of curiosity, yeah, so that's 13%. This one's a pretty good one to keep your eye on. AGEN. AGEN again, I'm looking down here for, if you do a Fibonacci retracement, I'd be curious to see. Am I doing it wrong? Let's see. High of this day, I guess. It's not following anything. Whatever. So it found resistance right here, but I don't think there's any reason for it. Let me see if I can retrace this back a little farther. Yeah, there's not really any reason for it. It just found resistance at that price, probably because it's so close to the $4 mark. So this one might be one to keep your eye on in case it does turn into one of these. So something like that, you know. So you could buy down here or something, get like a quick 6% off of it. But I wouldn't for now, because you don't know if it's going to keep going down. There's no reason for it to come back up unless there's like some news, but right now there's no real reason for it. So next is CLF. Doji, like I said, Doji may show some reversal. And it started coming back down. And I would wait for it to come back down to this location roughly. So, you know, this might be pretty interesting. Oops. Not that far down. I'd say roughly right here. That's a more reasonable expectation. So if it does continue to fall back down to this area, you can grab it, snag it to go to this roughly for a 21%. Could be interesting. Actually, I might even set an alert right there, actually. So that's CLF, or Cliff Bars, if you're familiar with that. GNRT broke through the channel. We had this closing wedge right here. Now I'm just waiting to see if this is going to turn into a acceptance or a rejection of this follow through. So just keeping an eye on this one. GSAT, real close to the earnings. Don't play this. Let's see what happens. Maybe it'll gap down. Maybe it'll gap up. But you know, don't feel bad if it gaps up, because you know. It could easily just gap down, and then you're like, oh, well, I should have bought into it, but, you know. So HSC is the next one. Meeting the support line right here. This does not mean buy. I would wait for tomorrow and wait for a confirmation candle heading back up. And then Tech. Tech all around looks pretty good. I'm waiting for this alert to get hit. I'm actually hoping it hits the right on the $20 mark, if you will. That way we can increase our profit margins. You know, because you have a potential of 32% off of Tech. Tech's looking pretty good right now. Classic stair step right here. You got a this is what you'd call a cup and handle right here. So you got your cup, then you got your handle. And then you got your stair step coming back down. So you could technically like zoom in and draw your lines like so. So you can see that it's kind of following that overall descending pattern. So if it continues to follow this pattern, maybe we'll get pretty lucky. Say, how far is that? Maybe in like a week, 2 weeks, something like that. Maybe it'll head back down, and then we'll be able to snag it on the way back up. So there was an earnings call right here. That's why it dropped back down. Always a reason for that. So if it does head back up, I don't foresee it heading back up extremely quickly. But you could always snag it for a quick 12%, because it seems as though that's at least the acute max price for this. stock at least. So tech's looking pretty good in my eyes as far as the future. And that's it for me. Thanks.